live.
He said he's gonna do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it.
And yes. Woo,
And how? Yeah, I bought that for him from Tivana. From Tivana. Tivana got them nice
Tivana St.
pots.
James.
Hold on, let me give you a little room on this dude. Oh, okay, all right, we good. Yeah, get that down your throat.
Oh yes.
Pour that down your gullet.
My gullet.
Yeah,
My gullet. My gullet island.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh.
I mean to cough them.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what that tifo. It's hot now. It's hot now.
I just need something just to like forge the way in my throat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So. Oh. I mean, hey.
Ooh.
I mean,
terminology. I mean, there are apps for that. If you know what I'm saying.
you just need a little pipe cleaning.
Drano. Bro.
A little bit of pipe cleaning.
You know, okay. Let's just talk about it,
Clear the
ladies and
flame.
gentlemen. Sometimes I like to, I mean, he doesn't listen to this podcast. Sometimes I like to troll one of my roommates because they get so flustered if you talk about sex stuff with them.
Yeah.
And that person turns beet red.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me laugh. That's what I was
It's
talking about
fun.
the sex shop thing too. I
It's
was
fun.
like, I've been here, I did this, I did that. And he got so red. Ooh.
I was just saying you should put it on the table.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. That's smart. I was like, ooh. But no, yeah, that shit's funny.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to grow into it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
hear you. He'll have to grow into it.
Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Ricky.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's also an what do you call it? An exposure of, like, there are things outside of what you think sex is.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
What you have been taught or what you have learned, you gotta understand
There's
that
many
there's
different
so much
ways.
more
Oh, yeah.
out there.
I feel like this is just such a random start to the show, but hello, welcome to A Lot to Say. A show where we have a lot to say. I'm Cam.
I'm Malcolm.
Yes.
I'm
Oh, good.
Ricky.
And that's Ricky.
Yep.
I'm glad you had to think about it. No, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't really have to think about it. I was just trying to take a little while to say. But
I'm Malcolm.
Yeah, all the syllables. Cam. Well, I set up Cam's new printer today.
Yes, we did. Yes, he did.
Fire.
Today, it was a great day
It's
to be an
good-
American.
That's a good ass printer.
As a white woman once said to me after Trump won. I don't know how that was true, but okay. But today was a fucking great day.
Yeah.
Shout out to our amazing neighbors who
Mhm.
are amazing lesbian icons.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shout out to them because they saw
Them pictures came
young
out
queer
nice.
artists in need.
Yeah.
And they came to our plus Carson, and they came to our
Oh my
rescue.
Respect.
Carson's the straight
Carson.
one, and
Yeah.
Jan.
Wait, am I really recording? Why do I have like? Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, you're on there.
You're on there. We see you.
Okay.
we
just
hear
make
you.
sure.
Ricky said, "Cut
Let
the
me-
goddamn
Yeah.
tapes."
Turn.
I need some.
Where you is?
Where you
Let me
at?
get you turned up a little bit. I think you're that one.
That one, yeah, I think so.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yes. Because I felt like
he's
I couldn't really hear myself.
arrived.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
I'm good.
But we're
This is exactly what I needed.
we're
brother.
up
Thank
in
you
it.
for the team.
yeah. Cam
Good Earl
walked in
Grey.
there sounding like
My-
Louise.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey guys.
You know what? I took a smoke earlier of something, and I coughed, and it was like a cute cough, and then it kept going, and going, and going, and I was like, whoa,
Oops.
whoa. And I went and took a shower, and then I was like, well, let me take some like cough medicine. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That did nothing. That was like just like
Yeah.
a
You
shot.
gotta coat your throat with some, tea,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
hot.
Mhm.
Coat your throat with
Coat
something.
your throat.
With Drano. Gano.
Yeah.
Gets all the come out. Oh,
Gain. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
can we censor that word?
too late. Too late.
Oops.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, But today was a great day. The printer. So Malcolm and I, it's very exciting. We're going to be a part of a show in Georgetown,
Tell them about it.
and so it's the Georgetown Cultural Citizens Memorial Association. They every year they do a black art show to display like black artists in Central Texas, and this year we're doing it.
Yeah, we're going to be up in it.
Yes, so please join us throughout the month of February in the beautiful city of Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah, old money.
Old money, old white money. No, I'm kidding. But no,
That's
but
black money.
But yeah, I was gonna say, to be honest, Georgetown, I like grew up there when I was a kid, and I would go to church out there. And I will tell you, there's a beautiful black community in the city of Georgetown.
There is.
They're older, they're very chill,
Yeah.
a little religious, but they're amazing, and they're very active. And I also think, shout out to the people in Georgetown, you all are lovely, but I think it's time for some change. And the first thing that they should do is get rid of that Confederate
Let
statue.
the youngins do something.
Yeah,
with it.
I agree though. And honestly, if anyone is listening to this and you live in Georgetown and you're like, I'm a young black person and I want to do more in my community, I implore you, join the Georgetown Cultural Citizens Memorial Association. They're a great organization. They do things in the community for, black for the black community in Georgetown and preserving and all that other stuff. And they could use some young blood.
Of course.
So go ahead, join.
For
Why
sure.
don't you?
Join. Get up in.
And we should record. Okay, so I'm hosting the TED Talk, the moderating thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did it the first year that they had the art show. I did great. We should, they're going to have the microphones and all that other stuff. We'll make sure that they have microphones. And we should record it and put it on the show.
I
That'd be
like
amazing.
this. I like this. Yeah, my aunt was like, "Oh, can I watch this somehow?"
We should figure out how to live stream it.
I was like,
Oh.
we're gonna ponder on that.
Okay, we can test it. I am sure that there's a way where we can connect all of this to do a live stream on Instagram.
I mean,
or on
yeah,
YouTube does
Instagram. Easy.
Instagram does it.
Yeah.
We can figure it out. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Okay. But yeah.
Yep.
A couple things we want to
Yeah, let's get into
touch on in the opening.
Yeah, let's get into our fishbowl topics. What's going on?
Well, let's talk about Leon.
Okay, let me get my notes.
Yeah.
So if you don't know,
Icon.
André Leon Talley.
Cam is
Who-
gonna school us on this.
Yes.
This
If you don't know
important man.
about this man, then you are living under a rock. I mean, you guys know who Ricky. I'm sure you.
Yeah. We've seen him definitely.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Yeah, I was like, we know who
Very
André
big
Leon
presence.
Talley.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we'll see. Okay.
He's the elephant you
I
want
feel-
to be in the
I
room.
think you actually know more about him than me.
Well, okay.
Don't say that.
So when I was a kid, I just remember watching like America's Next Top Model. That was the first time I saw André Leon Talley,
Okay.
like actually talking,
on
and-
the panel.
on the panel.
The
You know what I'm
judges,
saying?
yeah.
Reading the ladies as he's
Yeah.
because he's a judge, and so but he is a fashion journalist. You may
Yes.
have seen him on red carpets with like Naomi Campbell
Mhm.
or his good Judy, Anna Wintour. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I mean, he was a staple in the fashion industry. He, for his journalism and covering and reporting on the trends of fashion or whatever. He's also known for his caftan.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how I want to look as I get older in life. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
But he is from Washington, D.C., born October 16th, 1948. I'll read the Wikipedia information. It says André Leon Talley was an American fashion journalist, stylist, creative director, and editor at large for Vogue magazine. A black man running Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
That's Mage.
Amazing.
Mage.
That's fashion.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And I feel like he came from like a small upbringing. Like, right? Didn't he? He's.
I think, well, I'm not sure. Well, he's from DC, so,
Oh, never mind. DC.
he's from the city, man.
He is.
But also it's like queer representation too.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like anytime that I can see a plus size black man who expresses his queerness or his queer identity, whether that be bi, gay, you know what I'm saying, non-binary, whatever it may be, I celebrate it because
Yeah.
it needs to be seen on television.
It's very important to have those kind of figures, like in the past, like, in history, and
Yes.
see them that they actually push their ideas and
Well,
became somebody.
my thing is too is like I thought about the two. I'm like, okay, like do I surround myself with any older gentlemen who are like queer or whatever like that? And I do have my friend Britt, and I don't really talk to him as much as I ought to.
Yeah.
But I really feel like that should be a concerted thing. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I've known coworkers who were older gays, and I've always made it a point to get to know them a little bit, because
Yeah.
I feel like there's something we share that's the same, and that's being queer.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to hear somebody who's lived that in the past,
Right.
because it's not the same as it is today.
And it's a very weird. It's okay. Let me put it like right here. And it's a very weird time too. You know what I'm saying? Just in general, especially I can assume if you're an older person, you're probably scared shitless from what the media puts
portrayed.
out there. If that makes sense.
Also,
Yeah.
just they might be afraid of
Propaganda.
not being relevant anymore.
I hate that.
Relevancy. That is,
Yeah.
that is one thing. Okay, so like, I feel like we have all of these amazing, talented, like older people who are just still fucking it up
Yeah.
consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's like I wonder as like I get older, I'm like, they talk about like, when you're growing up, they're like, when you get older, you retire, and when you retire, you're just gonna relax and wait in God's waiting room until you die. Like it's very that. But it's like now that I'm an adult, I see like, oh no, this doesn't end until the fat lady sings.
Yeah. Well,
you
I
just
mean,
keep going.
it just depends on what
Most
you're
part.
doing. Retirement for a lot of people just means, oh, now I can stop doing what I didn't want to be doing.
That's very true.
And,
It's very true.
if you're doing what you love, there's no need to retire.
It's so. Are you saying retirement is a social construct?
It's
Everything
something.
is.
I mean, the construct that we live in is made to where you don't really have enough time to do the things that you really want to do. So
Yeah.
you spend most of your time at a place where you don't really want to be, whether it be 8 or 10 hours,
Right.
until they say, okay, you're old enough to where you don't need to be here anymore, and the government will just give you a check.
Very that.
And then once you're old and frail and you really just, you're like, I just don't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
You might or might not have the determination to do that thing that you loved anymore, because now you're old and you feel like, oh, I don't look like the ones that are coming out now. And there needs to be an incentive for older people to not just retire, but to go into something that they might want to go into, that they,
that they find fulfilling.
Yeah, that they find fulfilling or used to do when they were younger, and something that, and also pay them to do it.
Yeah,
it
was
like
the living.
Me and Malcolm, we were watching Netflix, and there was this older lady. She was 82,
DJ,
and she works at
DJ?
this is in Japan, and she works at a restaurant, and I think it was her family's or something. But she's like a chef, or she cooks the food, and it closes at maybe like 11, 12. At like 1 o'clock in the morning, she's out, DJing her.
Word.
82 years old. That's living life right there.
That's the key. And so, okay, now here's the other thing, right? So, we have these like icons. Everyone's an icon, which at the same time, I know a lot of people are like, eye roll, everyone's an icon. But at the same time, it feels like a lot of people are inspired by other people. As I said, I was inspired by André Leon Talley when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have much fashion sense, still don't really, but you know what I'm saying? Still inspired by him as a personality.
Yeah.
But I wonder though, like we live in this world where it's like, live for today because tomorrow's not promised. It feels like that is how people are fully living. We're living on the set of Rent, as far as I'm concerned. You live on the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like when we get older, like you said, the mentality is as you get older, you stop doing what you have to do to survive, and then you can do what you want to do. So I wonder, what is that going to be like? Because I mean, we know a lot of people, they just quit. I mean, the job deficit right now, people are just quitting their job, and they're like, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do.
That's what COVID kind of did for a lot of people.
Yeah,
as a benefit, it gave them the time
And the freedom.
fortunately, to look at what they're actually doing 10 hours a day and be like,
Well, the pandemic definitely shifts, how you look at,
Yeah.
your life and like
Yeah.
what you are doing and what you are putting up with. So
Yeah.
there's
and that's why the CDC per Delta Airlines went down to 5 days from 10 because Delta Airlines was like, we don't want our people to figure their lives out. We want them to go
we
back
need
to
them
work.
to work for us.
We need to make more money. And so that's all it came down to. And, but the bad part of making people stay home,
Yeah.
and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier with your roommate,
Mhm.
is they gave these people the time to think about what to do with their lives, but they were pushed to the brink so hard because they weren't paid
Right.
while being stuck at home.
They're like,
And
we have
so
to think,
they
and
were-
we're not getting paid.
they were like, okay, now I really need to figure this out, what I want to do with my life, because they thought in the beginning, they thought either I'm going to die tomorrow from COVID or, I just need to figure it out.
I know a lot of my hotel friends whose work, they were furloughed.
Yeah.
And they were just, like, oh, we're not firing you, but, you don't have no work,
Hopefully you can come back in a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
That's-
thing.
And then
though.
people left and applied for different jobs. And then now there's, a shortage in the hospitality.
You want to feel
Yeah.
like you have a purpose. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think like having a purpose, I think, is the operative word. Like, I know a girl that I work with. She works as a temp. Like she worked, because we just
Mhm.
needed someone to fill in, and she's amazing. And I really hope that they end up hiring her on. But her, one of her kid, or I shouldn't say, there was a diagnosis that was made, and because of it, she was not able to come to work
Yeah.
for 10 days
Mhm.
because the state was like, fuck the CDC, we're gonna do what we need to
We're
do.
gonna go, we want.
Yeah, exactly. And so, which is ironic, the state of Texas said that, by the way.
Mhm.
And so, but she waited. We were all concerned because we were like, well, she's probably just gonna go get another job and just do that. But she
Yeah.
literally waited, and she was like, I like this. This is giving me something to do. She
Yeah.
felt the vibe, and
Mhm.
so it's like, yeah, finding your joy. And I wonder too that high blood pressure and like heart disease and all
Right.
the stressor stuff, that is what kills people in this country.
Yes, it
So
is.
I wonder now, are they like, fuck, they figured it out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
fucking figured it out
They
that we're
figured it out
just trying to raise their blood pressure. That's all.
and put them on medication
That's it.
so we could push them in. So now I'm like, interesting.
Mhm.
I'm very interested to see what it's going to be like when we are in our older age,
Yeah.
and how the government will respond, because we're all just a bunch of jaded, angry.
If we're
Oh,
gonna
definitely.
by the time we're 70, we're not.
I'm not putting up with no
It's-
shit.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna believe.
yeah,
shit.
exactly. And then these kids after us, like these TikTok kids, are crazier. You
They're
know what I'm
gonna.
saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what is the government expecting
I know,
from us?
right?
Like, we're gonna
They
overthrow.
need to start just telling the truth.
Just say the
you know?
truth, because we already know.
We're gonna
you
figure
know.
it out. It's,
But even on the topic of like which also I just want to say rest in power to André Leon Talley. Thank you
Yeah.
for your work.
and how old was he when
he was
when passed?
73 years old.
Okay.
So he was almost at the life expectancy rate in the country.
But what
which we
did
talked
he
about last
have?
week.
Heart attack or what?
Oh, let me actually see, because that I don't know. I'm not dark like that. I don't like things that.
Well,
no,
I
I'm just-
mean, these
no, I'm just messing.
they don't really. I don't want to say they matter, but it does.
I mean,
kinda
I think
matter,
in this
but-
kind of day and age, not that it matters, but it does. You know what I'm saying? Talley died from complications of heart attack and COVID-19 at the hospital in White Plains, New York, on January 18th at the age of 73. Wow.
heart attack.
Yeah. Heart attack with complications
Mm-hmm.
due
That's
to
scary.
COVID.
Heart attacks are
Yeah.
tough.
Heart attacks are tough.
And probably died of a heart attack, but had COVID just
Yeah.
when they tested him.
So
exactly, though.
Yeah.
You know,
For real.
which is very interesting, very
Yeah.
apropos to our next story.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it over.
So we're in the part of the pandemic where the numbers are the deaths are going down.
Yeah.
The cases are going up.
Yes. With Omicron and,
And
stuff like that.
so, with people seeing that, they're realizing, okay, wait, the hospitalizations are kind of like stagnant. Cases are going up, crazier, 3 times as faster than the original one. Do we really need to be as outraged, or can we even do anything about this? And
To me, the outrage stresses out not only people who are sick, but and the people who like the nurses and stuff like that, the medical workers.
Yeah.
It literally stresses everybody out.
And
your coworkers.
This is the new 9/11. This is the new. It's the new. When 9/11 happened, or when we were supposed to invade Iraq, they had that little color scale, like we're code red or code,
which is still
same
if
thing
you go
with
to
COVID.
if you go to well, maybe that's not true actually. I was gonna say if you go to those things they're called fire stations.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
They have those little scales, but I think
That's
that's
for
for like the
fire.
water.
No,
Yeah.
fire.
That's
yeah.
probably like for
Fire
Never
risk
mind.
flooding or whatever.
I realize what I said now. I'm so
Something
sorry for
else.
interrupting you for that bullshit.
But there, the news stations have that tactic of scaring a lot of people, and then it makes them watch it
Police
more.
state.
And so there was a Freedom of Information Act filed in the UK to see the actual numbers, the actual COVID death numbers that were caused by COVID only. No comorbidities,
Is the Freedom of Information Act similar to like what we have here in the U.S.? Like
Yeah.
with
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Literally,
okay.
it was
With the whole cell phone thing.
yeah.
To
and then-
obtain information.
FOIA.
Gotcha.
So they did that, and then they wanted the numbers for UK and Wales, and then they found that the numbers were way off as far as COVID and zero comorbidities. They
shit.
actually put those numbers out, and it was like 17,000 deaths in this year, and obviously that's a lot of deaths. That's
a lot of
any death is bad, obviously. But the original numbers were like 100,000.
But the question is, and we did talk about this a little bit before. The question is, deaths caused by COVID.
Deaths caused by COVID.
Not death caused by complications.
No, not well,
death caused by
not even death caused by complications, but either that or just saying died by COVID, and not even diving deeper into like, oh wait, were there any comorbidities? No, we just said died from COVID because this person died and they had COVID.
Right.
And so they were like, no, that's not what we need. We need people who died from COVID.
Right.
And so they got the information. The numbers were like 10 times lower than what they were projecting.
Right.
In the UK. And so this information is going to be coming out every month or so, or every quarter, I think he was saying. And it's gonna end it. It's gonna end this whole outrage thing, because that information is like it's way less than the flu.
So, okay, this is gonna sound super weird. So on YouTube they have like those like reel videos or like the TikTok video sections.
Yeah.
On your phone. So like I sometimes like when I'm using the restroom, or if I'm like it's early in the morning and I'm like still stretching in bed, I'll like watch like a video or two just to burn time. And sometimes they have like informative videos on there.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, it was like a YouTuber or something like that, he was reacting to these videos, and one of the videos was like the death rates by different pandemics or epidemics over the years.
Yeah.
And they went through like the yellow fever in the 1800s.
The measles was a motherfucker.
Well, no, yeah, it was they went. It wasn't like
Was it
time
decreasing?
by time. It was like what was from least to greatest.
Yeah.
And like they go, from like Spanish flu, and then they show like the measles.
The plague.
They show the plague. Then they go to like the HIV crisis in the 80s. But then they go to like other like typhoid and like these other things were on the other side of the world that I didn't even really know about. But what was not in that list? COVID-19.
Mhm.
I was like, how weird.
Why?
That's so weird to me.
Why wouldn't you put that number in?
Yeah, I was like, and it was a pretty interesting scale system because it went through like different time.
And those
centuries.
numbers were probably death by what that was.
Yeah.
Officially.
And
And like measles, that was eradicated by the vaccine that came out.
right.
But that was just they were able to. The mRNA vaccine is not meant to eradicate the vaccine. It's just meant to protect us.
Is that what we have essentially, or
If you have the Moderna one, then yes, it's an mRNA.
I have Moderna?
Yeah, then we have the mRNA, which is the new version, newly developed technology that, basically just gives you the antibodies and, you got it. But
So, okay. It feels like they fucked up my whole year.
no, they fixed.
Of course.
Everybody's year was, it was.
2020 was supposed to be the moment.
It was basically, it's not needed.
Do you think though that like, I'm a very cosmic kind of guy. Like I was, I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying? But I also have a very like the universe works in a mysterious way. I honestly feel like the universe was like, Mama, y'all need to sit down.
Well,
time out.
like we were saying, it was a kick in the butt of everybody here in America. Like, what am I doing with my life?
It was the ego check.
We were all in this brain fog of work. Trump's bad. Work. And then now Trump's gone, and we have nothing to think about in that aspect. And then
except for Kamala
COVID,
babbling.
Yeah,
sorry.
And then COVID coming, and then we just thinking about, oh, everybody's dying.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And so it's a immediate shift into I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to die tomorrow.
Right.
And so it was a benefit in that way, but the way that they, just didn't pay a lot of people and told them just go home and stay home and then pay your rent also.
But then also called them essential workers and told them
that
they would pay them more money if they came back and never did.
Never did.
Just saying.
My hazard pay, it came after, like, it was like after, like maybe like a month after. They're like, okay, we'll give you hazard pay. We'll give you back pay for hazard pay. I was like, God damn.
So it wasn't even the hazard pay for the quarantine.
No, it was just them saying sorry for not paying during. Because
no, they did. They went back and they actually paid for the days that I did work.
Was there?
Yeah, it was there.
But it wasn't like,
it was like a separate check.
We feel like what
damn.
you're doing right now is we'll figure out after the fact. Even if you fucking die from doing your job, it doesn't matter if you send them a check after the fact.
It's hateful.
So and so now with this FOIA, this Freedom of Information Act, and what we talked about on the last show, we talked about
the mortality rate.
Mortality rate in the U.S. being
77.
77 and a half.
It was 77. No, I think it was 75. But it was 77 a couple of years ago.
It's now 78, I think.
No. Let me rephrase that. I think before COVID, it was at 78.
Mm-hmm.
Post-COVID, they dropped it down a year to 77 because of the amount of people that died.
Yeah.
And then when we did our research, we saw that back, like 20 years.
Yeah, before.
Yeah, like in the 90s,
fluctuates.
In the 2000s, it was like literally like 70, 72. And I was like, oh, fuck. We did good. Okay, great.
All right.
We're doing good. We could do better, We could do a little better.
It's going down, but
yeah. And so after seeing that, I was like, God damn, it must have been hard back then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for real.
So I'm very thankful for what's going on.
Well, we have technology advances.
Science.
Exactly.
This vaccine, thank God for this vaccine.
Yeah.
So
the vaccine, I will also say, I mean, people do clown it, but I do say it is a medical achievement.
No, yeah.
It will be talked about in history. It will be, just saying.
So
no shade.
So you got the death, the morbid, what is it called again?
Mortality
rate.
Yeah.
So that's at like 77,
something like that.
something like that now.
77 years.
And so the average age of death for COVID is 82.
Dun dun dun.
What does that mean?
This is in the
Ladies
UK, by
and-
the way.
This is the UK,
Yeah.
but I mean
Let's see what the mortality rate in the UK is.
yeah. But UK, I would say the UK has slightly better health than the US.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to talk. I was really hoping for her to say that. She didn't. It's 81 years in the UK.
Yeah, so they have slightly better health than us, but so just think about that.
81 years promised.
Just think about that.
Damn.
You live in a country to, United States,
Yeah.
and on average, you're going to die at 77 just by living in the United States of America.
I mean, we just read about Andre,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he and so the average age of death for COVID is over that.
Right.
Is about 3-4 years over that.
Wait. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're just using this for the UK, for example.
Mhm.
This is the UK's
Yeah.
facts.
That's the only country at this point that's asked for this for you.
So okay, it's 82,
Mhm.
but their life expectancy is 81.
81.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So it's like, yeah, you you could probably die from COVID at 82 and a half years if you're not vaccinated.
Right.
But
Over
if
there,
you live in the UK, you'll on average die before that.
So hypothetically, in the US, for example, you may
could
live
die
up to
before
78.
COVID gets you.
Exactly. Yeah. You could live up to 78, but it won't because of COVID that you go.
Yeah.
It'll be something else.
But
yeah.
at the same time, at 70 whatever, because of that being the average, you probably have something that if you do get COVID, if you're not vaccinated, you have a way higher probability of dying.
Which is okay. So let's break it down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Marijuana and COVID.
Okay.
Is that really a real thing? Allegedly?
It's literally a study.
I thought that girl was just stoned at a
No, it's
Clinic K
for
or
real,
something.
for real.
Can I say
for
this?
real.
What?
The study came out of Oregon. I think it was Oregon State University
Work.
that was doing this study.
I love the girl who was doing the news report. She was like, yeah, it's it works or whatever. And she was very high.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. She looked
I
very
tried
much
it.
like a stoned Kylie Jenner.
But
It was
I think
great.
she was at like a CBD shop.
Yeah.
It was CBD.
It was like a
And-
smoke shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it was in
and
San Antonio or something like that.
They had to
Somewhere
get the
local.
doctor on there for a disclaimer. He was like, "Hey, if you want to smoke it, that's up to you."
To
but,
you. Yeah.
I don't know. CBD form is what we're talking about.
No, I don't know anything about THC.
I don't know what that. We all know what that does.
But isn't that interesting? I will say, I'm not saying that I partake in the devil's lettuce. If I do that, maybe I've already said it that I smoke weed.
You have.
Yeah, I have. So I wonder if that's why I just haven't gotten sick.
Well, I ain't never tested positive.
Neither have
tested
I.
positive
And
either.
you
Neither
know,
have
I always keep it out.
I know, and I'm gonna be very honest. I have sex with strangers. I haven't caught COVID. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Mom, but I do. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, think of all the things we've been doing since
I
the
know!
beginning.
I know.
And
I know.
Even when you got your first 2 shots, you were like, "Let's do it."
Yeah,
Let's go.
bitch. I was like the
The
day
day after.
I got my
night
shot. I was like,
after.
let's go, hoes. I need this. So I'm just very perplexed. But I'm also be responsible. If I'm going to the grocery store, I wear a mask or whatever. We
Yeah,
talked about
but
last week.
I think it's a level of how much you do
Yeah.
consume it, because there
Yeah.
are some of but also not vaccinated at the same time.
Yes.
One person we know has got it. She had it 3 times.
Yeah.
Not vaccinated, but doesn't partake in the greens as much as we do.
And I will also say it's kind of like what you do because or this person, they them there, does not partake in the green, and they may or may not work with children. That's a setup for failure.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna
kids. I feel like if you work with kids, the likelihood of you catching
you're
COVID,
gonna get anything.
Yeah,
working with kids.
My mom, she was like, I wonder why cars.
Petri dish.
My mom was wondering why my brother didn't, continue working with kids because he was doing great with it. You know, he was working his way up at the Y. He could have worked at like a different school system or whatever. Blah blah blah. And I told my mom, I was like, no, thank God that he doesn't do that. I would be on edge all the time if I got COVID because it would have happened.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. No offense to kids.
Yeah, I mean,
kids are germ bags. No disrespect.
Well, they get viruses all the time, bacteria,
all the time.
And then it just passes through them, and then it teaches their immune system.
Exactly.
But yeah, of course, if they're most likely someone has COVID, and it's going to pass on to an adult.
And
that's what I'm saying.
For adults, another thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you testing positive for COVID means you have a viral load enough to give it to somebody else.
Right.
If you don't test positive, that don't mean you don't have COVID.
Yeah, you could be. What do they call that? What do they call it whenever you have the gene in you? A spreader?
Yeah.
Antibodies?
No,
there's like a word where it's like you're a spreader. There's like a formal word for it. You're a carrier or something like that.
But you could have it, and then your body just say, Psh. And that is your body saying, oh, that's what that is. I have the antibodies now. Because you could get a little bit of it, and the PCR test just doesn't pick up that much of viral load.
Right.
And, it just, this whole positive, negative, get tested, don't get tested. It just scares people even more.
Well, we've referred to this already.
Yeah.
But I mean, the stigmatization that this country has, which is so ironic because they'll pump a whole shitload of money on destigmatizing HIV and cancer, but yet they'll just spread propaganda to spread more, to stigmatize people who have caught COVID, which is literally just like catching a cold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, it's
I
a
was
common
telling people
cold.
that were y'all wouldn't be like screaming like chickens with your head cut off if so and so got the cold. Y'all just tell them to go home.
Yeah, go home. Meanwhile, though, if you hear that someone has COVID, they will shut your department down.
Yeah.
They'll call the police. The police will call
the CDC. And
shit. Exactly. They'll call the news station.
Outbreak.
Quita Culpepper's reporting outside the building talking about Hoda. I'm here in front of Carlton. Hoda. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever. Like, it's really disgusting. And nothing needs to be stigmatized. This is a human experience. If we're not expecting any kind of sickness or any kind of healing, then what are we here for?
We more like
Christians.
I find it so weird.
I feel like we just gotta adapt to,
We're like going around telling people, oh, so and so got the cold. So and so got the cold. Just being scared from that one little thing. And why are we not this outraged about, hey, stop drinking soda.
Yes.
Drink more water.
Okay, exactly.
Be active. Why not be outraged about that?
Exactly. I called my dad earlier and I told him, I was like, my dad's, he's doing better or whatever. My dad likes to walk a lot. And so he was telling me like, I went on a walk a few days ago.
Good for your blood pressure.
Good, because he's a stroke survivor, you know what I'm saying? And so he tried to walk to CVS, which I was like, old man, please calm down. Like,
hey, shit.
It would not be a safe walk for him to do that.
Hey, man.
That's like a highway he has to cross. So I'm like, hey, sit your ass down and just order it, you weird ass. Just walk to the corner store.
Just put on a bright vest.
Exactly. But like, you gotta keep moving.
Yeah, you do. Definitely.
When I was sick last week, you bet your ass I was doing yoga in my own time. I did a little home workout.
I saw the mat on the floor when I got there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like, you literally move your body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do it.
I don't know.
Less carbs, less sugar.
Yeah.
And
I put the Coke down, man.
Like back then they thought
Coke.
Back then they thought like eating fatty foods, like fat that comes from food, makes you fat. And now we know that it's sugar and carbs, and fatty foods actually is healthy in moderation.
It's a thing where it's like when you look at the video where it's like a brain reacting to sugar being consumed.
Like crack.
It's crack.
It's literally the same
We are
thing.
all on crack.
It's almost chemically, if you look at the chemical compound, it's almost
It's
the
the
same.
You boil it. It
Yeah.
comes together. You chop it up. It's Coke. Okay, people? You're ingesting Coke in your kid's cereal. And I'm sick of it. I'm Cam. Vote for me for Senate. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh. I know we didn't talk about this.
What?
I just want to say, shout out to that dude in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Bitch.
For real.
I'm voting for you. I don't even live there.
Yeah.
And I'm voting for your ass.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Let me look at this. He had a pretty good ad. That was a very good ad.
It was like, first and foremost, the message was important and super relevant. Second of all, it looked like a deleted scene from Queen and Slim.
Yeah, it was a good
beautiful.
setting.
Yeah, and simple. And 3, there was weed. I'm here for that. I'm not going to apologize anymore for talking about weed in public. It should be legal.
Shouldn't.
It should be legal. You know? I don't know.
But yeah. With this damn pandemic shit.
Pandemic. So this
Yeah.
is year 3?
Yeah, we're in the 3rd year here.
So here's my question. What will constitute, or maybe there's a financial gain for the powers that be that we are in a pandemic?
How much you think Pfizer's making?
A shitload.
About 38 billion.
Billion, of course, billion.
In a year.
Well, I mean, you remember that lady who was in Georgia who did need to be removed from office? Who owned the basketball team?
Mhm.
Fuck that bitch. I mean, she was a racist. She needs to get kicked out.
Yeah.
But the one that the preacher replaced, the blonde, da da da. But she, do you know what I'm talking about? In
No.
Georgia, she came out of the state of Georgia. I think she was a Senate member. She had long hair.
Talking about Marjorie
I think that was
Taylor?
her name, Marjorie Taylor.
Green.
I think so. She owns a basketball team in Georgia too, and her team hates her. I watched a documentary about her. But they said in the documentary that like when the outbreak was happening, she got a call, and the call was like, the world is going into a pandemic. If I were you, I would offload all of my stocks and invest fully into face masks
Oh, her.
and that shit.
Yeah. They had a meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she took that call and she was like, okay, drop it.
Mhm.
And then she
Mhm.
invested into face masks.
Well, actually,
Evil.
that happened, and then they just
They should do a Senate thing for that. I would like to see that.
They just found that all of Senate and Congress are violating the Stock Act.
Fantastic. Remove all of them.
And so they asked Nancy Pelosi about it, and she was like, "Oh, in the democracy, we all have freedom and freedoms and shit.
There
like
should
that.
be checks and balances. Where's the checks and
Yeah,
balances, Nancy?
It's a huge conflict. of
Y'all
interest.
y'all got me fucked up on YouTube watching Chuck Schumer talk about democracy is at stake and the
What?
shit with the Supreme Court.
Y'all are super rich.
That's what I'm saying. Get the fuck out of here, Nancy.
Super dumb rich. How
I'm
many
done
yachts
with
you
that.
got, Nancy?
That's what I'm saying.
10, 11, 10?
She uses one of those yachts for Bravo for Below Deck. I'm sure she casually lets Andy Cohen
She
borrow
rents
it.
them.
I
Shit's
think
out.
she makes a 6-figure salary, but I think I saw something
Yeah,
where her
she
stocks were
does.
valued at maybe like 128 million.
Her
Hi.
husband trades stocks. He's a hedge funds man.
Yeah. like, it's a
How
lot of
can
money.
a U.S. Senate member make that much fucking money? You're a public servant.
And it's funny when their stocks, what they buy
Real
is
name
against
criminal.
Criminal.
It's a conflict of interest.
It's like, you think of, young kids. I want you just to keep this in mind. We celebrate Malcolm. You're wearing Malcolm X on your shirt.
Yeah.
We celebrate these icons. You know what I'm saying? These icons were not in mansions.
Mm-mm.
They weren't in gated communities.
Not at all.
Not at all. They lived just like fucking us because
Yeah.
they represented the people
Yeah.
in which they literally were.
Always giving.
Literally. Nancy doesn't know where the fuck I come from.
Mm-mm.
Neither does Elizabeth.
No.
Sorry.
Neither does Kamala.
Neither does Kamala. And I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings when I say this, but neither does Bernie.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just being real. These
Yeah.
people can't represent us because they don't understand. That was AOC's whole thing, but now she's turned into one of them.
Yeah. She gets speaking fees now, and she's doing the whole, I'll wait for my 5th year so I can just permanently get speaking fees.
No shade. I don't want to
Yeah.
see my representative being a fucking guest judge on Drag Race.
Yeah. Oh.
I love Drag Race. It's a great show.
Who was
It's
that?
fun. AOC.
You're kidding me. You're
AOC
lying.
was a guest judge on Ron Paul's Drag Race. No, just kidding.
Oh my
RuPaul's
gosh.
Drag Race. It's
That's
real.
crazy.
No.
She was fabulous.
No.
But
no.
you know, like my thing is, if you're a public
that
servant,
whole
you should be
tax
working.
the rich dress at the Met.
Bullshit.
No, nothing.
Bullshit.
She-
Nothing.
Hold up. That dress was hideous.
It was hideous.
ugly.
She doesn't know anything about fashion. And why are you attending?
Yes.
Like, and
For-
then
to make a political statement
Exactly.
amongst and hobnob amongst the rich.
that was. I didn't think that it was. Who's her PR person? But that's
It
not
was
good
bad.
luck. You shouldn't do that.
It was bad.
I just feel like democracy is not a business; it's an institution. Just like I don't want to see I don't want to see preachers out here in private jets, Creflo,
Well, what,
all the
Joel
niggas,
what those
Joel
politicians
Osteen.
would tell you is that the Supreme Court has ruled that money equals speech.
They have said that.
The Supreme Court.
But can I tell you something though? And maybe I'm gonna sound like an anarchist, and then when I become successful, they're just gonna Jane Fonda me or whatever
Yeah,
bullshit,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna come back and just be fierce and old and fabulous in my
Yeah,
80s
say
and
it.
90s. But I'm just gonna say this: fuck the Supreme Court.
all of
And
it.
here's
the whole thing.
well, the whole system. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, when the people don't like something, they will have their word said.
Mhm.
No shade. January 6th.
Yeah,
That was just the treatment.
they were coming at y'all.
And that was the weaker group of people who are not
Yeah.
that smart that did
Uh-huh.
that. Now, if you
Yeah.
had a group of people who are calculative,
Ooh, about January 6th.
okay, let's say it.
As much as I
But
hate,
I would do that.
as
but,
much
you know.
as I hate this motherfucker Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Oh, he called them terrorist.
Well, but
Okay.
he was questioning the FBI
Okay.
director.
Oh, during a Senate hearing? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was asking. So there was a guy in a video
Mm.
the day before January 6th. He was at the little rallies that everybody else was at, and he was like, "We need to get inside the Capitol." He was just saying that out loud. And then some other people around him were like, "No, we don't need to do that."
Yeah.
And then one other guy started saying, "Fed, Fed, Fed," and he
Oh,
started
shit.
calling him out. That video was deleted from YouTube. And then the guy, the next day was put on FBI's most wanted watch list. The next day, well, after January 6th, because he was seen literally at the Capitol the next day. They have video, all of it. They showed it at the thing.
Right.
So when they started arresting people, he was taken off the list.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was taken off the list. He did news reports. He was very open about who he was. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, this is my name. I'm this guy. I love Trump, blah, blah, blah." FBI did nothing about him.
Yeah.
They never went for him, taken off the list. So go back to Ted Cruz.
Mhm.
He's asking the FBI, "Who is this guy? Is he a former FBI agent?"
Yeah. What's his connect?
And she's like, I'm sure you can appreciate that I cannot answer that question.
Oh shit! Which basically means yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
believe
so-
that means yes.
And so he asked another question. He's like, "Do you know if there were any FBI agents at the insurrection?"
yeah.
And she was like, "I cannot answer that question." Every single question he asked about an FBI agent doing anything, I cannot answer that.
You know, okay, can I tell you my real tea about the January 6th
Yeah.
insurrection, which is also I'm done people talking about it
Mm-hmm.
because we're trying to justify why a group of white boys and their, girlfriends had a fucking temper tantrum and find a resolution in it.
And
what
the
we
thing,
saw was
yeah.
a temper tantrum. And what we also saw was a group of people being manipulated by multiple systems.
Yeah.
I understand that they were Joe Rogan and all of them say Trump was not involved. I don't believe that. I do think he was involved, or I think he had.
He
had
was
information.
definitely saying we need to go to the Capitol.
Yes.
That's the gist of what he was saying.
Exactly.
He didn't know whether they were going to be violent or
right.
I mean,
but at the same time, though, Malcolm, I do believe that he was using these group of people who are in pain, who are going through shit, and they were looking for leadership. To basically do his political theater.
What is Donald Trump's? What is he good at?
Causing a scene,
conning people.
Yeah,
he's one of the best con men,
of course,
because he became president, conning people into thinking that he was a presidential person.
Oh,
so
yes.
His base was always going to be that type of people that's easily squeezed to do something stupid.
Yes.
So the FBI said, let's push him to do it. And as you can see, there were some police taking selfies with the people once they were in there.
They sure were.
And, you know,
because they were rooting them on.
They try to make it seem like, oh, all these people died. One person was shot.
Yes.
She was a former officer. And she was shot in the face. Mm-hmm. And then other people committed suicide and had heart attacks after.
Oh, like after the insurrection.
After the insurrection. 5 people.
Because, okay, and here's my thing, though, too. And that's why I'm saying, I'm like, Trump, I do place blame on him because he said it. But at the same time, what I also see as well is that Democrats and Republicans were egging shit on for months prior to
the rally.
That led up to this.
The rally itself was no different than a regular Trump rally.
Yes, exactly.
So there were people there with guns, probably drunk, probably just as most crazy likely as they usually are at a Trump rally.
Right.
But then when you get people saying, "Let's storm the Capitol," that's not mostly the Trump supporters.
Those are people.
Those are the instigators that are not being arrested.
QAnon
on purpose. There's footage of these people. All the people who are on tape are not being arrested.
Right.
It's most people who are poor, just regular ass people who were just there.
That's why I'm like, I don't vibe with attacking people based off of, like, if they tell me they voted for Trump, I'm not going to attack you for that. If we continue talking and you start talking some Proud Boy shit, then I'm like, okay, we don't need to be friends.
But just saying, I voted for Trump should not trigger anybody, because that isn't the point of progress.
Exactly.
Is to say, I'm on this team. The point of progress is to say, what do we both want? That's it.
That is how I feel. Like, if most people now, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear what Malcolm Elmore just said. If you listen to what the other side wants, and then you basically negotiate and say, hey, let's work together to get this, which is decriminalizing drugs, which is lowering taxes.
Let's talk about the shit we all want.
Let's not talk about things we want, people, because we all broke.
Yeah.
And they could pay for a few shit for a couple years.
At first, it was the blacks that was all broke. Now it's the blacks and the whites.
And the whites, because that's what my mom used to always say when I was a kid. She was like, just watch, Cameron. White people have to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about them either.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's true.
And that's kind of what Trump said. He was like, he conned the hell out of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. A third of the country.
And I'm like, here's my thing. What I've always wondered, too. I'm just like, could you imagine? I mean, obviously the Republican system is super rigged, so maybe this would never be able to happen. But could you imagine someone like the lieutenant? What is the guy's name running for lieutenant governor?
Zach Vance.
Yeah, somebody like Zach Vance, who actually is like killing it in the polls as a Republican. Good. You know what I'm saying? Running on a national platform with the things that he's saying. Could you imagine?
He's saying some good shit.
That's why I'm like, I'm excited to see things like that where people can actually watch a debate and be like, do I want to vote Republican because I like what they're saying? Or maybe this election,
honestly, the name won't really matter once the lines are blurred.
The lines will be blurred
because the Democrats are looking so Republican right now,
and nobody's taking Republicans seriously either. Let's be real; like, both sides are jokes. That's all.
And that gets us into our main topic.
Let's talk about the main topic,
which is voting rights.
Voting rights. Let's just start off and first say happy birthday, Dr. King.
Yeah, happy birthday. I was watching his kids talk. As usual, there was like barely any coverage of that.
Isn't that crazy?
Like PBS, yeah. CNN, hell no. All the major, no.
Which you would think though that CNN would cover something like that.
And the thing that was weird about it is that Nancy Pelosi was there.
Yeah.
But still, it was not on CNN or any of the major.
Because listen, CNN will be quick to attack Fox News and call them state television.
Yeah.
CNN is state television too,
They are.
people.
Yeah.
Okay, it's propaganda.
They're on one side. They're very biased.
Morning Joe ain't the tea. Morning Joe is basically maybe a smarter version of Tucker Carlson.
Basically.
They may say some things that might be a smidgen true. Because Tucker Carlson is basically a children's hour. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? But like, they're both garbage. You too, MSNBC.
Yeah,
we see
for
you.
real. And CNN, CNBC.
Yeah, like we see y'all. Except for the money ones. I like to watch those because they talk about
the
stocks
money.
and
Yeah.
bonds.
They
That's
be on
shit that
some
matters.
truth shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They can stay.
They be saying the truth out loud sometimes.
Yeah, out loud, like it hurts. So
like, ooh, did you? Ooh.
Yeah,
Damn.
know. So the Fox, they can keep those, but their
Yeah.
little news networks are not news networks. Take them away.
Mostly propaganda.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But voting rights.
Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so
It
how
ain't
old
getting
would
done.
Martin Luther King would be to? Okay, first and foremost, let's just talk about this. Let's just jump right into it. We're gonna insult him. Joe Biden, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Definitely.
We voted for you to have specific things done. You said you're gonna be the guy to do this, and you had some very key people who had solid plans to get things that we needed done, and you didn't.
Guess
come
who was
through.
on this?
Tell me who.
Kamala. Kamala was supposed to be on this. She was supposed to be on.
She sure was.
Yes, remember?
That's right.
She's MIA.
On what?
Voting rights. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna appoint Kamala to be on voting rights and immigration." Oh, my bad.
Oh, my bad.
But yeah,
Oh,
she's nowhere.
Here's the
Nowhere.
What was that interview that we saw with the ABC we talked about last week?
Oh yeah, she was talking to the dude who sounds like Hustle and Flow, motherfucker.
He sure does.
Man, his voice is cool though.
Yeah, his nose is also pointy.
I think he asked her. He was like, "Yeah, so obviously it's not going to get done.
Yeah.
So when is the time to get it done?" And Kamala's like,
it's coming.
Every day is the time to get anything good done. You know,
Talking
And
in
we
fucking
believe-
circles.
just about it. Nothing sauce. So they're basically letting. So the reason why it's not getting passed is because of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema.
Do they have
voting.
a valid reason to also like deny it? I just want to know.
The
No one really
reason
talks
the
about
reason
that.
is because they keep saying we don't want to change the rules
For the filibuster.
for the filibuster. We don't want to change the filibuster,
Which did not also pass either. Mitch McConnell tried to rub it in people's, he did that whole
Yeah.
speech to rub it in their face.
And basically, they're saying we don't want to change the.
It's okay. She's been through worse.
We got tables, Cam.
I know. But I got thighs. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Stay slippery.
Yeah, that's true. It's the fabric. It's the fabric. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, they're trying to. On both sides, they're bullshitting us.
Yeah, of course.
Because every time Joe Biden and Jen talk, they're like, the Republicans are just, they won't pass it in the Senate.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, it's because of Democrats in the Senate who won't get it passed. It's two Democrats who you keep saying you're friends with.
And they are not y'all's friends.
Even Joe Biden at his last press conference said, I actually like Mitch McConnell. I'm friends with him.
But can
How crazy is
Can I
that?
ask you this question? So isn't that also the other reason why they were like, okay, we're going to bow to Joe because Joe can go across the aisle line.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen when Mitch McConnell was talking about how African Americans are voting just as high in
Yes.
numbers as Americans?
Yes.
Which is,
Yes.
whoa.
He
That
said
was
that.
crazy. I was like, wow.
So he called black people non-American?
He
Well,
was
didn't-
basically saying
in his head, didn't
we don't
consider
need
them as
to
Americans,
we don't
because
need to change the rules because
They're voting
black people
high
had
enough.
record number out,
That's pretty
voting for Joe Biden.
Tennessee,
so we don't,
wake the fuck up. Or Kentucky, wherever the fuck state
the
he's
Republicans
from, wake up.
are gerrymandering every fucking state so hard that
Look at
even in Democratic states, your vote will not matter for the next 10 years.
But wait, but didn't we talk about this though? I mean, like off mic. It starts from the base. If we want to eradicate these gerrymandering bullshit laws, we need to go back to the base. You need to start checking out who you vote for city council, who you are voting at the state level,
Yes, definitely.
who is your constable, who's your sheriff.
And what does that mean you can forget about?
What does that mean?
You can forget about the presidency.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because
that's true.
Worrying about who is at the top of that shit
is
not going to help you at all.
Start from the base. You got to build it up.
Go to your local elections and see who's making the decisions.
Literally.
To put your vote where, because the gerrymandering, like I was telling you, there's states that have, very little population. They're sparse.
Right.
A lot of just open land that have 2 senators representing them. And then you have California, which has a population of 5 billion ass people and has the same amount of senators represented. Does not make any sense.
Because, in the UK, the thing that I find very interesting about like Parliament, and if I get this wrong, please write down and read me, attack me. I want to learn. I feel like or from what I understand, it's like Parliament. You elect your people into Parliament depending on how many people your district or your shire or whatever the fuck, whatever people say. I don't know. Game of Thrones
shire?
No, but seriously, so they vote them in, but then those people that you vote for, they choose. They vote. They don't even have to consult the people. They just choose who. Cow. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine living in a world where that is how it works?
Well, we kind of do. Nancy was elected by the Senate to be Speaker of the House.
Okay, I see.
AOC elected her.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that's one of the things that it's like we were pushing her to get Nancy out to tell her to vote for Medicare for all. We were saying, do not vote for her unless we get a vote in the House. Even though Joe Biden's saying he's going to veto it, which is some bullshit.
Which I bet you if it did go through, he wouldn't have vetoed it.
I bet you he would.
You think so?
He's so bought by pharmaceutical companies. He actually thinks it would cost more money to give everybody health care.
Which is not true.
It's so stupid. We would have less people in the hospital.
We would save so much fucking money.
Damn.
That's what they always love to say is like, well, people are overrunning Canadian hospitals. That is not true. And most of those people are there because of drugs.
And the reason why we don't have any ICU beds here is because we keep on closing hospitals.
And okay, talk about it. Okay, Mason and I were talking about this. We were like, ICU beds. Also, we may need to take a break because I have to potty.
Okay.
ICU beds. Most of the time, hospitals like around here, maybe there's about like 12 to 20 ICU beds. Yep. That's not enough.
That's ridiculous.
And that could run out at any fucking time, but they don't report it whenever
exactly.
It's run out every time.
It's been like this.
Which goes back to the thing that we were saying earlier. It's like accurately depict what's going on. Tell us the full picture.
They're outraging us at the time that they want us to be outraged to control what we do.
I saw a video. I don't know if maybe it was the NBC late night anchor or ABC. I think it was ABC. That hot guy who does their late night news. I like his show too. He's like a white dude, Italian dude,
very clean cut with
clean cut, great hair, great head of hair. He kind of looks like what's his name, American Psycho. He's got like that
Christian Bale,
American Psycho.
Okay,
but he had a conversation. He was talking about like how journalists right now are grappling this line where they feel like they have to report what big media wants them to,
or they will get canceled,
versus reporting the news,
the truth.
And I like this guy because he was like, my job is to tell you what's going on in the world.
Yeah,
I'm not getting into all that other political bullshit. But I will tell you what's going on in our neighboring countries. Yeah. I'll tell you about world disasters. well, let's talk about the news and what's going on and what literally affects people's lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not being bought out. And I was like, well, snaps to you.
Yeah, good job.
You know? Because it's true, though. Those MSNBC motherfuckers and CNN, they're fucking the game up.
They really, they're just judging it up.
Yeah,
like,
we can read Lester.
Outrage.
That's what I'm saying.
Every day.
We can read Lester and his hairline, but Lester's just telling us what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
This
Like,
is Lester Holt.
That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just too much. It's way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. And you know that MSNBC is some bullshit because when Brian Williams got caught lying about the airplane, they didn't fire him. They banished him to MSNBC.
Yeah, they told him to get out of here.
What happened with the airline?
So it was a helicopter.
Yeah, he basically was stolen valor.
Yeah.
He was saying it was
Brian Williams.
Brian Williams. He said that.
Yes, I remember that.
He was like in the helicopter when it went down or some shit like that.
He was a part of the crash or he witnessed the crash and it never happened.
Never. He was not there.
Yeah.
Ego.
And then because of that, they gave it to Lester, which I'm thankful for, which I fuck with because Black men report the news. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
But he's been in it for ever.
Let Lester.
Damn, Lester. Retire already.
Walter Cronkite.
Go find out what you
the
actually want to do. Don't just be a robot. Damn,
okay.
Lester. Shit.
I live for Lester. And then he's got like a kids version. It's like late night news kids. And it like breaks the. No. That's great. It's the news. It's literally the news programming. But then they also have it. They just reduce some of the language down so that a child can understand it. It's adorable. I've only watched one episode. Now we'll never watch it again. Honestly, though, I was gonna say it's really sad, but like some of you adults would really benefit from watching this because you guys are ignorant to the world. Okay, at least they're trying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go back to the ABCs right quick.
That's what I'm saying. You know? I was like, go back and watch.
Go back to condensation, precipitation, and all that bullshit.
Precipitation,
learn the
cohabitation.
What a cumulus cloud.
Clueless. No, but seriously, I feel like I'm actually very excited by everything that we see. I think we should be so lucky that we live in a time like this.
Yeah.
We could be living in the 50s.
We're very much in the age group that's like, let's figure out the truth.
Yeah,
here,
or a solution.
We see that past generations have been duped, and they're trying to get us.
Yeah, and
they kind of already got the newer generation with TikTok a little bit, but they're kind of wild, and I don't think they're gonna be in anything.
I was gonna say, I think that's the beauty.
They might be the new,
but
new. But
at the same time, I'm gonna be honest though, these TikTok kids,
they're
crazy. And it's like, I feel like they feel the same energy that we do. They just have a pacifier.
They're just going to have to grow out of it.
And they're also super young right now.
Yeah. Because, hey, when we were at that age,
we were wild.
We were MySpacing and shit.
Hell yeah, we were crazy.
Black paging.
But at the same time, those kids say the same thing too. And those kids are crazier. Like, they will shut a school down if they hear about some shit. They're like, oh, you fucked with the trans girl? No school for a week.
Yeah.
We're done.
Cancelled.
The kids will walk out of the school.
They'll shut a whole high school down.
I live for these kids.
I'm excited. They got videos.
They got
the proof.
They
teachers acting out.
That's what I'm saying. They will call a teacher out, bitch. There
was a whole slap a teacher challenge on TikTok.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit now, please.
But it's a good to expose people.
But seriously though, like I live. So these kids are just as radical, and they don't even have the
feature. The youth is always a feature.
Always. So
man, I wish we had cell phones in high school. I mean, I did.
Wait, what?
I did.
Cell phones came out?
No.
Oh, you mean like a smartphone?
Yeah, we had cell phones, but they were the brick Nokia motherfuckers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a little slide thingy in 2012. It wasn't a sidekick, but it was like the cheaper version because it was back when you bought a phone on Verizon, you could go to the website and it was like the cheaper brand phones that were under a specific amount.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, y'all can choose those phones.
Net 10.
Yeah.
That.
So it was like all the, But yeah, I didn't get a smartphone until I went to college. That was my graduation gift. And it was a really shitty phone too.
Ooh.
I had a Galaxy S2.
I mean,
oh wow.
way better than what I.
It was a good phone
Mm-hmm.
until after I want to say about like the first 6 months, and that phone went to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I had they were like, I updated and it died.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah,
They
remember
were-
this is plastic.
They want you to
honey."
get the 3.
Yeah, seriously. I was like, what the
The
fuck
3's
is
coming
this?
out.
And I had that phone for years. I was like, I'm gonna hold out. I had TikTok. I downloaded and signed up for Snapchat on that, but I never used it. I didn't use Snapchat until I got my iPhone a few years later.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy? Crazy. Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were talking about voting rights.
Yes, voting rights. Let's transition to iPhone.
Voting
my
rights and
God.
TikTok.
No, it all.
Hey, it's
it
all the
all
same.
connected.
It's all the same.
It's all connected.
You know, why can't we do a votes where it's just they send it to your phone if you register?
For real.
Because that's
It's
too
technology.
easy.
I would love
Then
that.
the voting would be accurate.
I would love that. I want an American Idol style election night. Call
Well, I
Idol.
mean,
That needs.
There's
to be,
some
that
states
needs to
that are
happen.
going to ranked choice.
I love that.
And I
But
think
no.
we voted on that and that didn't happen.
Of course it didn't, Texas.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, we're
Idiots.
like getting rid of mail-in ballot.
Yeah, we are.
applications. 78,000 or
They
whatever.
did.
the
But
fuck.
remember what that guy said at the march? You think that it's gonna hurt Democrats?
It's going to hurt the Republicans.
It's gonna hurt Republicans because those
Duh.
white women are gonna have no
Yes.
options.
Yeah.
None.
They definitely won't. And I feel like if Marianne runs,
Mhm.
those white women are going to go to her.
And they will get out of their cars.
They will.
And they will go vote because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and you know what? Vote early. I swear to God, people.
Yes,
You want
early
to
voting.
avoid this problem? Vote early.
Yeah.
No one is there. Change that this year.
And they're trying to change up early voting too.
It's a
That
shame.
was a part of the John Lewis Voting Act bill.
Mhm.
It was gonna have a whole bunch of good shit for voting.
It was gonna be open on Sundays, right? Or
Yeah,
was
it's
it-
gonna make it a federal holiday.
which it should be. Have you seen that? There was a beer company, and they had a petition printed on the beer can. Maybe it was like Sam Loggers, or I don't know, some beer company. But you sign your name on the can, and then you ship it to like state representatives, or like I think they ship it to the Senate, and they were delivering cans to the Senate with the petition on it, like make the election day
Yeah,
a fucking
yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would get so wasted.
You know why they don't want to do that?
Naked wasted. Why?
Because they know that a lot of people are just gonna take the day off and not vote.
But that's not true though, Blanche.
I think it is.
You think so?
Because there's already so many days that we can vote if not early voting, and I'm talking about locally. And there's well, for us, we have a little bit more opportunity. In some places like Houston,
yeah.
it's a little scarce. So it's either it's like they already know that there aren't enough polling places for people to even want to vote in the first place. So they're gonna take that day to, we got a day off. Or people like us who, we have at least 2 or 3 around us.
yeah.
We're gonna take that day off too, but also we could just go vote on the other day.
Yeah, I gotta remember that
You
it's
know.
a privilege that like I can choose which
Exactly.
location site I want to.
Some of us have the privilege to just be like, oh, I'll go this day,
Yeah.
but the other population, they're just like, it's hard. It's fucking. I don't want to wait in line for
past
fucking
7
6
p.m.
hours.
and they're still in line.
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
got to count.
So
'cause
people are
that's the
gonna
longest
take
time
that
line.
day off and be like, ooh, a day off. Thank you.
I know that also like the state for my job, they will you can get paid time to go and vote as well.
Okay.
So like you can take the day or the afternoon, like you leave at 3 or whatever, or
Yeah.
you come in at 10 or whatever to go do your thing and go vote. Or if you go during your lunch hour, you get your lunch plus the time to go vote, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Honestly, that's all you really need to get people.
I mean, you really
Yeah.
just need to make it more accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
And there is already an international texting system.
You bitches send me fucking
There's
random
already
text
that
messages
thing.
about white
I
girls that
know.
get snatched up. Just let me text
It's
through my phone.
already an easy thing. Send everybody a text, just like y'all send everybody a check.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and I do want to talk about like
Yeah.
the civil rights movement and the
Mhm.
legacy and all that
Mhm.
stuff. So
Mhm.
grab a snack and come on back.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Right back, y'all. It's emergency. Oh shit. See, I said I'll talk all that shit.
Yeah. Now we
Damn.
back.
Fuck Leonardo.
We here.
Also, I think he's a part of a group called like the Pussy Chasers or something like that.
What's that?
It's him, Toby Maguire, and one other actor.
Toby.
James Franco.
Wow.
And they were called like the Pussy
Oh,
Chasers.
that's the worst group of.
I know.
That's like the new Three Stooges right there.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I think that name is
That's a little
wild.
creepy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what a creepy ass name. You know? Like, I'm not, you know. And then it's just creepy dudes.
And the fact that James Franco was like teaching at a university or something.
Yeah.
He slept
So-
with the students.
Yes, he did.
It started recording on the last recording.
Yeah. Stop it. Like it recorded over Netflix to really think about what it means to have a good reality television show.
What kind of reality show you want to see?
See, I like those like super weird edits on YouTube because they're just funny to me of like real pop culture moments or interviews and stuff like that. It's like absurd. It entertains me. But they did. I guess there's a new Netflix show called Hype House, and it's like a bunch of TikTokers. It's like the Real Housewives of TikTok or some shit.
Yikes.
And they did a super edit of that show. I was like, oh, maybe this is gonna be funny because it's like they spoof shows and stuff like that, or political interviews and stuff. And so it was not. And the person in the video also was like, this is cringy.
Yeah.
Like throughout, they're like, what the fuck did they just say? Like that kind of stuff. The captioning. But I watched it. I was like, people watched the regular thing. It was only a 5-minute edit. And I was like, this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't know.
This new shit is not good enough.
But they also
It's not.
voted for Biden. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Good and bad. It's just,
Oh, well.
it's not for me.
for you.
To me.
Isn't
To you.
isn't a Nikita Dragon on that?
Yes, she
That's
is.
crazy. Okay, Nikita Dragon, and then they come out.
She's an interesting bird, isn't she?
She is, and just like any, yeah, she definitely is.
She's a very interesting, like person.
It's funny because when I see this, like what do you call it, like this figure,
Yeah.
and, she has a big following, and then
Huge.
they come out with like makeup, and then they franchise off into Hype House,
And people
or,
buy that shit
and
up.
it's like, god damn, like
Well, it's like because from what I know of Nikita Dragon,
Yeah.
because of the whole Victoria's Secret protest where they were like, we don't want any trans, we don't want any fatties, we want
Yeah.
skinny white girls walking down our runways. And then, they got canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a canceling that I'm here for. If we all socially move towards something that we're just like, we don't like it, that's okay. But if
Yeah.
you're trying to crucify a person, that's a little fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But crucifying Victoria's Secret fashion shows, go ahead. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it means something, but it doesn't mean anything.
I think
Yeah.
people need to sort of look into themselves and then
Yeah.
why they're getting so angry about
Yeah.
canceling someone, or
Exactly.
look within your there's something
like
how you
using
think.
your power. Like now, Victoria's Secret fashion show representation. People just
Yeah.
said we want to see us walking down the runway.
Mm-hmm.
That is something to rally around, scream and shout, and let it all out. To quote Britney, or even free Britney. I mean, she was in a situation, and her family, especially after Jamie Lynn Spears' interview this past week, they are fucked up people.
Yeah.
But like, focus your energy towards something that actually means something.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Just don't attack people just because you don't like one thing that they did. Let them do their thing. Insult them. You should insult them because
Yeah.
criticism is a thing.
Yeah.
But don't like threaten them.
when you were
It's too
talking
much.
about a Victoria's Secret show. I think people need to understand too that there's so much out there that people who are producing things are actually showcasing trans and
Exactly.
people
Rihanna.
who are even
Arena.
handicap and stuff like
Mhm,
this. Like
mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, there's content out there
Yeah.
that are
Oh,
for
yeah.
you. So
So there's a market out there.
Yes.
So represent the market. They want to be seen. And if they say they want to be seen, respect the gangster. And if they say, fuck you, we don't want to, then you have the right to say, I will not give you my business.
recently I was
Just
watching
saying.
on YouTube. It was a Mugler It was like a fashion film or something, like, the short, like 10 minutes. But, they had the girl on Pose, Dominique, I think.
Work.
They had
also shout out to MJ because she,
yeah, they had a couple of trans people. They had black women on there. It's like, it's out there.
It's good, and
it is.
We're now starting to
see
fashion being inclusive, and it's a normal to see a plus size woman.
Yes,
which I'm also kind of like bleeding hearts of the world unite. Like blow me. Enough of like the whole I need to be seen. Some people will be seen.
Do you?
Mary. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you? Does everyone need to be seen?
Yeah.
Just saying. Sorry, I had a soapbox. Welcome back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back to a lot to say, and we definitely just had a lot to say. At least,
yeah.
I
for
did.
a minute, yeah.
We gotta air it out.
We did. We sure did. But yeah, what were we talking about? We were talking about. Oh yes, we were talking about elections, voting rights.
Mm-hmm.
We are people of color, and we all three are people who come from communities. Ooh, how did I say that?
Yes, please.
Community.
What are we?
Medea.
What am I?
We all come from
I wanna hear your
communities.
Medea movie, apparently. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I lost my teeth for a
You said
second.
communities.
Community.
Yes.
What? Community. Community. I'm really country. Like
Yo,
low-key. Community.
What the
Yeah.
hell? I say community.
Community. Anyways, so but like we live in a world, our communities have to fight
Diverse.
for the right to vote or to really be recognized as a citizen. You know
Definitely.
what I'm saying?
We gotta try 10 times harder just to be equal.
Just to be equal. Well, so my question is, so we look at like the Civil Rights Act of 1969, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, by LBJ. And then we also look at like the Reconstruction period and like,
And the Voting Rights Act
is there
to
progress? Yeah.
to contrast that with what the Republicans are saying right now
Yeah.
about, we can't pass this voting rights bill because it's not bipartisan.
It's not good for both of them.
It's bipartisan. It's not partisan because we all don't agree with it. But the Voting Rights Act was not bipartisan.
Exactly. Of course.
When they freed the slaves, that was not
bipartisan. It
at
started a whole fucking war.
They had to fight for that shit.
Which is my thing.
Hardcore.
I don't think if anyone, I'm really glad you said that. If anyone thinks that the battle for improved quality of living in this country is that easy, where we just spent one summer protesting,
Mm-hmm.
you're fucking delusional.
Years.
And
it didn't come from the top.
Yeah.
It came from the people saying you have to do this,
Yeah.
or we're not with you.
Or we're shutting everything down.
Yeah, this is all going down.
Which is why I think this is such a precarious time, because I feel like one thing that we saw during COVID was we did see a sense where people did kind of wake up,
Mm-hmm.
and they were forced to recognize what was going on around them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw so many people protest. I know Mason
Yep.
protested multiple times
Yeah.
downtown. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is like, we see that those like posts, though nobody posts anymore about like civil rights things. I'm guilty of that too. Well, no, actually, I'm not. I do post my shit. But how do we get people to keep that sense of awareness going? At least for Black people, we're still doing it. I feel like that's still very part
it's
of the
becoming
conversation.
it's becoming a topic now because that bill is dying.
Yeah.
And so now they're talking about it again. They're going back to the whole, hey, you said because of George Floyd and all this, John Lewis dying. And
You know what it is, though? George Floyd's case, the way that it turned out, in addition to the young man, I can't think of what his name.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes, exactly. To
Right.
that trial as well. They think it's a thing that older white people are like, okay, well, we did them a solid this time.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to bother them with any
We
more.
prosecuted these former police. So,
Yeah. So it's all good. We're
that's
fine.
good enough.
It's really not, though.
It's not. It's definitely
It's really not.
And they know that it's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
They're incentivized to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're bought by the companies that just want them to do nothing about it.
Exactly. But here's, I mean, not to bring it up, but I mean, we watched a video about the whole mask thing and that the government basically pushed them to do it
Christ.
and to destroy all these face masks. Well, what the fuck is that about? You know what I'm saying? Also, I just want to say this about the FBI. Please don't track me. You probably already do. Whatever.
It's too late.
It's too late. They do it for everyone. It's 2021.
It's probably those 2 messages you and Mason got.
They're trying to
honestly, no, that was a guy trying to fuck me. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
And
that was
Mason?
gross. And Mason too. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's a small world. No, I'm kidding. I feel like
Small world, big ass.
well, oh my gosh, no, can't be too small for me. I just get lost in there. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't even find the door. No, I feel like people. I know that was disgusting. God damn it. That was horrible.
No, it made me laugh.
That was horrible. No, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the FBI has always been garbage. J. Edgar Hoover. Do you know how many buildings are named after him?
I know.
That man's a terrorist. A literal terrorist.
Who do you think they were calling? Who think was calling MLK and Malcolm X?
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. Who do you think's calling me?
Exactly.
J. Edgar Hoover.
He's calling you from the grave right now.
beyond,
In the
bitch.
grave, just calling people.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
And the fact also that he made Coretta Scott, listen to all of those tapes.
For real.
That's fucked up. And you know it's fucked up, sir.
It is.
From Beyond. So from Beyond,
They
I
did
say
the
fuck
same
you.
thing with Malcolm.
They sure did.
I mean, with any of the black activists,
And also,
any activist at all.
if you thinking to think that they weren't getting some strange doing that kind of stressful fucking work,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they were.
And to say that they had nothing to do with January 6th, please.
It's fucking crazy, bitch.
Please.
That's exactly my point. Thank you.
Please.
You picked it up. You saw where I was going.
Jesus.
It's all a setup. All of it. But that being said, though, okay, but do we see that there is improvement as far as our experience with voting in America? The real thing is that none of this should have even happened. It should be done with by now.
Effectively, we're going backwards because of the hardcore. The recent gerrymandering is putting us backwards. There's no way around that. And the reason why is because the gerrymandering that happened around the country right now is designed for the Republicans to take over the House and the Senate in 2022. It's just that's something that will happen.
The thing that is interesting to me is, given the behavior of the Senate specifically, I just would have assumed that it was going to flip anyways.
Well, that's the thing. The Democrats just aren't doing enough to where they have enough points to where that won't happen. Yeah. It's just gonna flip because the Democrats aren't getting higher numbers, And so you're gonna have them lose the Senate and the House 2022. Then you're gonna have a whole bunch of more Republican voters coming in for 2024. Then you're gonna have Trump, Ron DeSantis, maybe a couple other crazies, Kamala and Joe, Marianne, maybe Hillary again.
Do you think that, in a world where Hillary Clinton is able to pull up enough cash and actually buy the election, which is basically what it is now, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say what it is.
She tried to buy the last one, but
do you think that this purchase will go through this time? Like, they'll just be like, okay.
No. If Trump runs against her, nothing. She has no chance. Because how are you not able to beat Trump? Come on.
Yeah, people genuinely hated her.
After scandal after scandal. I grabbed her by the pussy.
But
all this shit.
Well, the thing though too is that what it ended up coming out was some of the scandals. Not even talking about like the whole Benghazi thing or whatever, but some of the other scandals, like what she was saying about black people in the 90s, calling them super predators, all that footage. It was like she had a lot of fucking skeletons.
She was just as fucked up as him.
That were just flowing out.
And so there was nothing she could have done to beat him with her character alone. Yeah. And so people were trying to make her seem like she was better than Trump in that way.
It's like she really wasn't.
She was not.
I've said that.
And if you look at Joe's past,
he's trash too.
Yikes. He was just talking about working
Oh.
with
Hi, Mamacita.
Portia. What's up?
Hi, Portia.
Portia came to say hi. What's up?
So pretty. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
at Joe Biden's little rally recently, he was talking about how he worked with Strom Thurmond to get voting rights passed. That's not
Oh
who you want to
shit,
be.
man.
Yeah, I worked with the segregationists.
Honestly, I think it would be really fierce if a Democrat came out with an ad against Biden.
Joe Biden. What's his face? Well, maybe this is probably like a step lower, but Bernie Sanders said that he would endorse anybody who wants to primary Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. He said, if you want to overthrow them, I'll endorse you.
Which also, I'm gonna be honest too. I can see that happening. I was like, that's why. Okay, I'm gonna be very
The
honest.
problem is that only Bernie he'll be the only one doing it. I don't even think AOC will.
Can I say this though? Given the amount of celebrity power that Bernie pulled, a la the Cardi B's, Offset, all them niggas talking about Bernie,
Joe Rogan,
like
Yeah.
I think he's okay. I think people would, off of his word alone, would listen to him.
Yeah,
what I'm
definitely.
saying?
He has the highest approval rating out of all
the
of the
Democrats.
senators.
Like people love him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm like, I knew that. People didn't give a fuck about people didn't give a fuck about AOC, and two, that the real key to getting like that pull for young people is
Yeah.
Bernie, because like Cardi B did that whole interview with him while he was running, and it was actually a
Yep.
great interview.
It was good.
It was a really good interview. So that's why I was like, just have him endorse
And
it. And
I
make sure
think
that they would come with
he
it.
would definitely endorse Marianne Williamson
Yeah.
because she was the only one in the end that was endorsing him. She was the only one. Not even Elizabeth Warren endorsed him.
But Democrats know that they're the future. They know that they're the future, people who are on that vibe. And that's how more of these young senators, which I mean, like, what did they say the last election? The amount of, you better work, girl. That was ingenuity. But the amount of young senators that are trans, LGBT, other people that Democrats would not vote for snuck in because, one, people weren't showing up to vote, and two, they took up the call. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we see more of that. Unless of the AOCs. Well, not national, not on the federal. I mean, on the state level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the state level.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me retract. If only we were so diverse on a federal level. You know what I'm saying?
I want to see that.
I would love to see that. But no, fuck that. We don't need to focus on federal. And Republicans are right. We got to take it back to the states.
Yeah.
We got to literally take it back. They are absolutely right. Take it back to and that's what they were saying all those years ago.
Yeah.
Take it back to the states and regroup.
I like
Texas could go blue if we want to, but we have to regroup.
As much as I hate Abbott and Cruz and all the motherfuckers, I'm sometimes glad that I live in Texas.
Absolutely.
Because I would not want to be in California right now.
Hell yeah.
Like, they are on shutdown mode like a motherfucker.
I don't want to be in Kentucky. I don't want to be in
in there's
New
a lot
York.
of states I like. I'm like, thank God I'm in a Republican state for just because of this pandemic and how they're in the Democratic states. They're just like shut down,
scared.
Do what we want you to do. And it's
New
like,
Jersey,
okay.
New Jersey has been shut down for so fucking
I know.
long, and that is both with a Republican and a Democrat.
Chicago closed all the schools.
That's, as a parent, I would be fucking annoyed.
Like, what the fuck?
I would sue them for that. I'd be
All
like,
of
how
them.
dare you?
That's crazy.
I
They
know.
had the Senate had a hearing about that.
Did they make them open it up? Do they with these hearings? Do they do anything with these hearings?
It's a waste of time, and they get paid for it.
Are you serious?
They get paid for it.
So can I ask?
We pay for them to do that.
So can I ask you this question? Let's take it back to the McCarthyism era. John McCarthy. Ooh, not John McCarthy. Ooh, that's he's a Beatles member.
What are you?
Paul.
No, McCarthy. McCarthyism.
Yeah, I know.
What's his name?
McCarthy. Yeah.
Is his name John McCarthy?
No. Yeah. The
No.
Beatles one's Paul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you got it right. Come
Woo!
on.
Thank you, Laura, for my U.S. history classes. John McCartney. That is so funny though. Paul McCartney. When he was doing all those hearings and he was accusing these actors, these liberal people being communist or whatever, and they were like, people freaked the fuck out about it, right?
Mhm.
Now that you're saying it and it's really like clicking in, I'm like, oh, it really doesn't do anything. Those were just people rallying around what one person was saying.
Yeah.
So in an ideal world, in a world more like today, if they tried to do some shit like that, people would be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't even watch it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But now they're basically playing on what our fears.
Oh.
They're like,
Same
people are
thing, though.
outraged about this. People are outraged about
So
other.
it's still that though. But as far as the actual opinion that Synod has, it really has no sway on the audience. We don't care what they say.
We shouldn't.
Most people don't.
Most people don't, but when they're the only reason why you should is because when they're in this hearing, they're under oath.
Right.
So they have to tell the truth no matter what they say.
No, they don't have to tell the truth.
I mean, they have to
They're
skirt
obligated
around
to,
it.
but they
they have to mostly
yeah.
say truth words, they
right.
because people will call them out on that.
Yeah.
But it's mostly theater.
So that's so interesting. Now
It's mostly theater, and they get paid for it. They're basically actors, and it's not you can't be a public servant and have someone writing your speech daily, and then you're rich.
Yeah, that's true. That's fucking weird.
That's not an activist, or that's not a public. You're not.
It's an actor.
If you're having meetings with billionaires weekly because they own said corporation and they want you to pass whatever bill
to make their jobs easier,
to where their board members can get, line their pockets basically, and then you get a check at the end, they're just going to do that daily and then go on the stand and be like, my constituents said they care about this. And then the people who some of them watch it, they're like, oh, well, I do care about that. But they're not actually talking about you. They're talking about the people they just had dinner with. They're
talking about Joe Schmo at IBM.
Yeah. They're literally talking about their friends who are rich.
Yeah.
Who are saying, I want this done now, and I'll give you a check after you do it. Yeesh. And so when they're like, the American people want this, they're literally not talking about you.
It's also like cutting funding for, their election.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also what it is, too.
And then by doing so, they cut fucking Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
Real life. But shout out to you, HBO, for hooking it up and making HBO $4.99 to watch the kids. And the kids can watch the movies. Okay, so like, okay.
It's all fake.
It's all theater, yes. So, McCarthyism. So, the fact that it ruined people's lives. Do you think then, like, I don't know. Like, so, could that happen today is what I'm asking.
What do you mean?
Where the Senate, like, they keep doing these fucking things where they're like, we're going to call Ivanka up on trial and we're going to persecute her.
No, that's just them, like I said, making us, they're trying to make us think that they're doing something.
Right.
When
they're no
even they know themselves that Ivanka is going to deny.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be like, that's what we're going to talk about.
Right.
Oh, see, Ivanka denied, but it really doesn't say anything.
Right.
It really doesn't say anything that they asked her to testify, because if it was really something serious, they'd have the SWAT team at her door.
Which, by the way, that's what I'm saying. Senate, stop it.
They have
and let that woman in New York.
They have procedures for illegal crimes.
Right.
They hold discretionary. They're very discretionary about who they want to go to jail.
Right. Right.
If you're just a regular black person selling a cigarette on the side of the road, you need to get choked to death. If you're rich out of, the world and you have a connection to China, like Ivanka had some connection with China for her clothing company,
right,
and some other stuff, then we're just going to ask you to come testify, even though we know you're going to say no.
Because, I feel like what I found interesting was like, I saw the thing about her in the Senate, right, for the hearing. But at the same time, in the state of New York, what's the Letitia, I think she summoned documents or whatever for Jared Kushner, her the brothers, and her in relation to the civil thing. And I'm like, now let that woman is doing
the thing about
work.
that is that she's doing some actual work that can probably, because Trump is in and out of court all the time for being sued like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he uses his conning abilities to con people into paying him. Yeah. And then he just uses that money for legal fees.
Right.
And so that's most likely what his whole family is going to do.
Yeah.
Everybody around him who knows how to do that, they're just going to hire the lawyer.
Yeah.
The lawyer's going to get him off. They're probably going to say something in a undisclosed, questioning.
Bill Cosby kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, we'll never know the questions that are asked, what he said.
And at the same time, that's why I also respect Letitia, because I'm like, she's a woman who gave her word on national television. She's like, I'm not going to run for a governor to move up as a governor when I should be focusing on this job.
She could probably get some money out of, he'll probably have to pay some fines from what she's going after.
Yeah.
He had to pay a fine at the beginning of his presidency for those fake colleges.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, for Trump University.
Yeah.
That's right.
So a whole ass president had a fake college.
Yeah.
Come on now.
All I'm saying is, can we let this woman focus on the actual things that may actually help us in the next fucking election?
If we keep on talking about, what Trump did for January 6th, he was already a criminal before he was president.
It's like, let's talk about the discrimination, he was discriminating in his projects. Things that will actually
he was not paying people.
He like things that will actually get him behind bars, which is what we want.
When he literally bombed a general from Iran.
There we go.
Soleimani. And now, Israeli government came out with an animation of them sending a drone to Mar-a-Lago and droning Trump. And they had to ask Jen Psaki about this. They're like, hey, they made a mock video of them bombing Trump. What are you going to do about this? And she was like, well, that's a Justice Department question.
Oh, my God.
Literally don't even want to do anything about it.
And I hate Trump, but that is a domestic assault.
That's
crazy.
Literally a whole nother government saying, we want to bomb your former president.
Would it be domestic?
That's terrorism.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
That's an act of war.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fucking crazy. They said nothing?
You don't send out an animation saying we're going to kill. Like, what if they did that for Obama? They would have went to war with this country.
And let me just say this, too. Every president, okay, I'm just going to say he's a trash person, and I think he's a pedophile. But Clinton at least did do stuff with the deficit and da-da-da-da. But every president is garbage.
Yeah, they've been
terrible. So excluding Trump and not doing anything about it is fucking wild.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's not.
We're over here looking at George Bush's finger paintings, talking about he's America's grandfather. Are you fucking kidding me? That nigga literally had people die on his watch.
I'm just thinking about like 2060. We're gonna have like a.
Well, Trump won't be alive.
We're gonna have like a ham and cheese sandwich as president. And we're going to be like, remember when we had an actual human Trump president? Yeah. You remember that? He was bad.
Do you remember Obama?
Well, he was human. You remember Obama? You remember Biden,
Yeah.
He was human, but now we got a ham and cheese sandwich that doesn't do anything. I mean, would probably do the same amount as what current presidents are doing.
Nothing.
I
mean, well, that's the thing, though. It's like, I had to remind myself halfway through Trump's presidency. I was like, I could be angry, but I also have to remember the presidency is a very important position, but it's also a figurehead position.
He's also a puppet.
It's a puppet. It's literally who are the people behind him that are controlling.
It's like, who can we put all the blame on right now? Trump.
Exactly.
Joe Biden is half out of here. He's not.
That's also why I'm saying, I'm like,
why do they keep putting him on TV?
Well, that's the other thing too. That's why I'm saying about Trump.
Jesus.
I'm like, we have these two old motherfuckers.
They gave Trump trillions of dollars in free press. Trillions of dollars.
Trillion.
Like that. That's their fault.
And they keep talking about both of them as if they're going to be around for a long time.
No.
I'm like, they're both
They're almost out of
waiting.
here.
Okay,
In
we
the
just said the
80s.
life expectancy in this country is 77.
And they both had COVID.
Literally.
You know,
So I'm like, it ain't like they're like spring chickens, bitch. Okay.
they're definitely over the expectancy age in America, but you know they're
rich.
They have like AAA plus healthcare.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, so all I'm saying is, people just remember we're stressed out about this,
mhm,
and this is temporary. Okay,
very
it's very temporary,
yeah.
painfully temporary. Just saying. Well, I think we've talked a lot.
Have we?
I think so.
Have we said a lot of things?
A lot of things. How long are we at right now?
Sheesh, 145.
Okay, yeah.
Wow, this is a Joe Rogan episode.
Well, hey,
He be having some 3-hour episodes.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Damn.
like, it's a radio
I know
show.
he's had a 6-hour one. I think
Oh my god.
That's a lot of listening.
that's a lot of talking.
That's
half
a
a day.
lot of talking.
That's a lot of bathroom breaks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how often do they have to pee for that?
You need like a mandatory break after that. After 6 hours, you need a mandatory
This is-
lunch break.
Such a random question, but does Howard Stern enjoy Joe Rogan? I wonder.
Howard Stern has turned into like if you're not vaxxed, you're a dumbass
Really?
type of. Yeah, he's
I would've thought
not
he would've
he's not
been.
the same Howard Stern that he used to be.
I was gonna say I thought Howard Stern would have honestly vibed with
Mm-mm.
Joe Rogan because they were kind of the same.
Well,
vibe,
it's just that
same audience.
after like think about what Joe Rogan's been saying. He's been going online and saying, "Hey, look, I got COVID. I took this, and that prescribed
Yeah.
from my doctor.
which is
I
all
don't-
true though.
I don't want to get vaccinated because I feel like I have the antibodies from natural immunity, blah, blah, blah. I talk about health daily. I'm
Right.
one of the healthiest persons, blah, blah, blah. I do jujitsu.
Yeah.
And Howard Stern is like, you're not vaxxed. You're an anti-vaxxer.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
it's them versus them.
Oh, you took ivermectin? Horse dewormer. Ugh. So it's just all this bullshit, and he's old,
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people are just getting duped by this whole pandemic thing, and then they don't know about these actual COVID death numbers.
Well, and this is what I've learned today, but it's like, McCarthyism, is the whole thing where they just use the Senate trials to manipulate Americans into
Mhm.
thinking this, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But what we're seeing also with January 6th, and what we're also seeing with them talking about like COVID and the schools and all that stuff, is
Right.
that they're using it to spread propaganda and to
Yep.
spread fear into people about this whole COVID situation instead
Mm-hmm.
of actually just spread the information and let people just learn and keep it calm.
They've known for years what could benefit us to live longer.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
old ass information.
Yeah.
To say get vaccinated and you'll be protected from dying 98%. No, that's not. No,
Mm-mm.
that doesn't.
Of course
That's
not.
not how that works.
Of course not.
But they keep saying it.
Yeah.
Like I hear it so much on the news. You have a 98% chance of not dying if you get vaccinated. They won't even say from COVID.
There's a community station they keep playing these holiday commercials, but I guess they're like it applies for every year, but it's like we all want to be back with our families. I know you do.
Fuck.
And to do so, you should get the shot so you don't give your cousin Pookie COVID.
Really?
But it's like, come on now. That's
Obviously,
a lot.
cousin Pookie gonna get COVID from something else.
Yeah, cousin Pookie gonna get COVID because he cuts up.
Because his name is cousin Pookie.
Yeah, exactly. Because he cuts up. Okay, we know he's been having COVID.
I know he
can't
should
shake
have.
it.
He already had it
Yeah,
years ago.
He can't shake it. Yeah, he had it 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
1987.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember.
So I'm like, I don't know. Wiki, what'd you learn?
I learned a lot. Just
Ah.
I think when you take a step back and focus on the facts and seeing it how it applies to your life and the fact that you're still at a certain point everything is temporary, and you got to see like we are year 3 into the pandemic,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever the hell that even means.
Which is
We're
scary.
still living with COVID, like it's You got to see where you fit in what whatever you're watching,
And
whatever news programs you're watching.
One of those years was out without a vaccine.
Yeah.
Only one.
It's and you gotta just see how look at the numbers of how much they're making. Moderna's making from all this shit.
So much money.
Trying to get a fourth booster. It's just there's a lot that's
Israel just came out with their study that said the fourth vaccine probably won't give you much protection against Omicron.
I was about to say the same thing. And then on top of that, I saw another article where it was how Israel could have helped X country in Africa.
Yeah.
With the amount that they've been shoving in people's arms.
Yep.
They could have just given it to those people, and they genuinely could have used it. Because again, like I say, I take the shot because of my own personal health history, and that, I want to protect myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm selfish, and it should be about myself.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, also, I should think about the other people around me.
Yeah.
But the shot is for who? Me. Not for other people.
Yeah, I mean, you really,
it's what you put in
you
your body.
really did not help anyone else by getting that shot but yourself.
Exactly.
And
which is okay.
That's 100% okay.
Absolutely. It's called survival, bitch. Yeah, but to say you're getting the shot so you can hang out with your cousins at Christmas so you don't spread the virus. That is bullshit.
That's 100%
it's a lie.
bullshit. And if your grandmother's going to be there, that's the one person who needs to be protected.
Exactly.
Get that person vaccinated. And if this person's going to whatever party, maybe everybody around there get tested and we all know.
Exactly.
But just to say, oh, so you don't give it to your whole family? No, at my Thanksgiving, there were a couple people there that weren't vaxxed, but and Friendsgiving, same.
But it's also pay attention, the people, if you feel like you're feeling sick or whatever, naturally you should not go out anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just do what you've been doing,
Fluey or whatever.
Take the meds, get the rest.
And sit your ass
Drink
down.
the fluids, rest.
Yeah.
It probably telling you, at this point, everybody's body is probably saying, sit the fuck down.
Agreed.
Stop being so outraged. I'm about to make you sick for real.
Yeah.
Not original COVID death sick, but I'm gonna make everybody for real sick to make everybody just be like, oh, I got it.
Some exhaustion.
How
would you like that, America?
Damn, I slept for a whole day. Wow, I did need that.
And honestly, when I took those 2 days off, it was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say
well needed.
It was well needed. I loved it.
Yeah, when I
watched Real Housewives of New Jersey and I exercised and ate soup. It was lovely.
When I was a little coughy, a little sick, I was just sleeping.
Just rest. Take a rest.
Out.
Take a nap.
Yeah, your body needs it.
Sometimes you need it. That's what we all learned today. Sit the fuck down, rest, and let everyone have the exact same equal voting abilities and rights.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Like and subscribe to us on all of our pages and share with your friends
and family
and your haters.
Yeah, and the haters.
Hey,
tell all your haters. Listen to this, hater.
Yeah. Hey, bye, haters.
Tell your dogs too.
Hi, haters.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah. Shout out to Portia and Monkey.
Shout out. They're over here chilling.
Shout out to my future dog, whoever that might be.
You still haven't talked to Edgar?
I don't really know where Carson and Mason's heads are at about it. They're so they're so finicky, and I just want.
I feel like
I want to get it.
This is not something you should question anyone about,
right? I should just get it.
And I said this to someone on Twitter the other day because they were like, "Should I wear this or not?" And then I was like, "Confidence has no questions."
Work. Confidence has no question.
It just does it.
Hey, Edgar.
Embody the confidence.
Hopefully the dog is still available, but I really want him. That is the kind of dog I want.
I mean, it just, like the pandemic, it makes everybody do what needs to be done. You got a responsibility.
Yeah.
You got to be home at a certain time. You got to pick up shit.
Yeah.
You got to
go take
be
it for nurturing.
You got to, love it. Yeah. Give it all the love.
Take it to the doctor.
I feel like with having cats, for me at least, it balances me out. Like at the end of the day, like it's a responsibility,
you.
and
Yes.
whatever shit you're going through, they're still gonna be the same type of how they're gonna.
They definitely know when I'm sad. For reals, monkey or even if I'm sick, if I'm like over there or sniffing and sneezing, they'll come over there like, "What the fuck is wrong? What'd you make them noises for?" Like, whoa.
I'm gonna be honest with my two sensitive ass roommates. That dog will be working on overtime. Okay, because they both love to cry and I don't. Understand it. I cry.
Why are you over here sniffing it?
Yeah, but I'm like, I just don't get it. But okay, Edgar, be on standby, Edgar. I'm coming to get my child. I'm ready. Okay,
he ain't ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a dad.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know.
Dad.
This will help me in the journey of wanting to be a dad because right now I'm like, I don't feel it.
Hey, you ain't gotta feel it. Steps.
Baby steps.
Baby.
Oh, baby.
But doggy steps.
Puppy steps.
Puppy steps.
Pooch steps. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. I'm Cam.
I'm Ricky.
I'm Malcolm.
We'll see you next week. And bye.
Bye.
Later.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.